Hello, welcome back to Lindsay Acres Farm. Today we're going to build this Moxon Vise. I needed a vise down at the end so I could do on a future project and do more woodworking stuff with, and so we're going to build this one. This is heavily inspired by Jay Bates, and so I will leave a link to his episode as well so that you can see what he did. I'm going to do a couple things different, but I mostly wanted something for the end of my workbench, and now I do. So let's get started building it. So since we're going to run across the side, I went ahead and cut down some poplar that I had from an old project, and I kind of overcut it so we can trim it down to the exact size that we want later. And then I also went ahead and cut the pipes down for the pipe clamps so that we're ready to just start going. First thing we need to do is we need to trim this down a little bit because they're a little too thick. Okay, so I have these cut down to size and I am ready to start figuring out where I want to go. Just like on the Jay Bates one, I made this a little longer, and what I want to do is bring in one of the clamps to be a little more in and then over here. So in reality, it can almost fit anywhere. However, I want to be a little more precise because it would bug me if I wasn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 31 inches, I'm going to divide it into fourths. So I'm going to half, 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 and I'll put the first one over here because I want the shorter side on this side, and then I'm going to have a longer one in here. And instead of putting it in like half, I'm actually going to come in 10 or 12 inches. I haven't decided yet on the inside. And then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark that, and then I am going to clamp these together, and then we'll get to the next point on actually drilling these out and get them ready for use. One thing though to note is I want the flat end up. So this is the side I jointed across the planer. So it's going to be the flattest side. May not be flush or 90-degree corner, but it is flat. And then also the point that I went flat against the joiner as well, I want that. So I want the inside here and the inside here to go on, so just like that. So in a sense, and I don't think it actually is, this should be the flattest possible, but if you note, there's a pivot here. But again, this isn't the most precise and world's best vise ever, and we're just going to deal with what we have. This does the same thing, so it's probably something on this board here. So, I mean, I am talking like 30 seconds or less of an inch, so we're not going to worry about it. All right, so let's get this measured out and mark where we're going to drill holes. Okay, so what we're going to do is we got it marked here. I am going to drill a hole, a very small hole, all the way through here and into this bottom one and into this bottom one. That's going to be the marker point to be able to drill the rest of the way into this one, and then to be able to drill into this one, and then you finally drill into the side of the workbench. The reason I'm doing it this way, one is it's just really big and it's going to be hard to do on the drill press. The other is, and Jay Bates talks about this really well, is this is going to shift back and forth, so we need to actually make this a little wider. And so what I want to try to do is drill out a hole, and then using the Forstner bit, try to do next to it a little bit on each side to get it just a little bit wider instead of using a plunge router like he did. It's just totally an attempt to try to do it a little bit differently, and we'll just see how it goes. All right, let's get this off, see if it went through like I was expecting it to have. All right, there we go, a hole and at least an indentation. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is punch that same hole in this one and this one all the way through. Then I can go through on the end here and I can mark it there. So, getting there. All right, hole here, hole here. Next, let's go ahead and clamp it to the side of the table, and then we're going to use our drill and be able to mark it out with a tiny little hole. So I have amazing ideas that don't actually work. So one of the things that I need to do is I need to trim off, basically notch out of here to be able to do this on here. Well, with this sticking out over here, I can't get it close enough to be able to punch through and get the hole. So what I need to do is go ahead and notch out this board, and then I can actually line it up to be able to get the thing on there. Anyway, good times. Okay, we got the groove cut and across all the way, and so now we're ready to drill a couple of holes to mark on this piece under here where we're going to drill bigger holes through. So we'll just go on through. All right, so we got the holes in here, so let's get the... So that should transfer all the way through the lines, and so yep, we should be good on that. So now let's get the rest of the holes drilled. Okay, so one thing about using the size Forstner bit I did is it was a little big, and so trying to do it like this has a lot of give in it, probably a little more than, or probably enough, like it can, anyway, so I'm just going to leave it. I'm not going to try to expand it. I do think there isn't too much give up and down, but I'm not exactly sure how to solve for that. So we're just going to go with what we have. So let's put these on. This is going to give us our, there we go. And then and here we have it, our twin screw Moxon vise. It is done. I'll talk to you about some of the improvements I could make here in a little bit. But basically, I put my materials in there, screw these together, and give it enough turns, and boom, it's tight in there. Whoosh, whoosh. If I need to, I can do my mortise and tendons, which is what I need this for, to do mortise and tendons on a future project that I have coming up. And then can undo this here. Okay, so I got that as kind of a quick little spacer. Come out here. I can get tighter if I need to. Just don't want to do too tight right now. But yeah, it works. It's fairly flush against the top of this, and I think it kind of stands there nicely and is a good tool for us to use. I guess for me to use. Yeah, I'm excited about it. There's definitely some improvements that I could make on it. Specifically, I would like to probably somehow figure out how to attach this to this board. The clamps in back, I want to attach to the other side of the pipe clamp attached to this down here, or the underside. Maybe screw this into this table here so it doesn't move as much. There's little improvements that I can make over time. I wanted to kind of keep it basic and kind of work with it a little bit as it is in a pretty sloppy fashion, so I could figure out what improvements that I want to make. But this is a quick build. Literally did this in one night. Tonight it is currently 10:30, and I started on this about 8. So pretty quick, and I am super excited, and now I can move on to another project.